Welcome to the Instigators Hockey Show. I'm Paulie D. He's Chris Kotsopoulos. Behind me, got some cool jerseys. Behind Chris, he's got anything that's cool.
Yep. Just keep adding to it.
Yeah, we're live. We're having fun. This is the Instigators Hockey Show.
Still waiting for my Yingling, whatever. You froze up, Paulie.
Uh-oh. I'm back.
Yeah.
So this shirt right here designed.
Reason up, big boy.
By Cody Kotsopoulos, by the way. Love this shirt.
You know what, Paulie, I hate to interrupt you. I hate to interrupt you, but you're freezing up there.
Yeah, I see that. It's
you're frozen for a long time too.
All right. Well, it looks like
must be that warm weather down there in Tampa. You got to be up here where the cold is. You know?
Yeah. It's not too bad here, actually. Absolutely. It's actually pretty beautiful out here. Today was just under 70.
You're frozen, big boy. Frozen in time. Paulie D. Paulie D, where are you, big boy? Frozen in time as usual. The electronical world, people. What can I say? We'll be back in a minute due to technical difficulties. Got my buddy Rowdy Piper with me today too. Look at that, people. Rowdy. And Curly, my drinking buddies. See? My drinking buddies right here. We're going to try and get Paulie back on here. He's in master command there too. I mean, I'm the one sitting here playing navigator, but
Can you see me now?
yeah, I can see you, but you're still like, goofy looking.
I don't know what's happening. This is the first time.
Yeah, maybe you should go to the other screen that we had where it was we have a close-up angle instead of the backup angle. You froze again.
The connections seem to be a problem right now.
Yeah, it's funny how it just happened as soon as we decided to do the show, and it didn't do a damn thing for the first half hour we were talking. You're freezing, big boy.
Let me do this.
It's freezing up constantly. Just letting you know. Let the people know.
Yeah, no, I know. Hey, I'm going to try to reboot this thing. Let me see what happened in here. For some reason, the connection is unstable, it's telling me, and I don't know why. It was fine. It was fine as we talked for 35 minutes.
Yeah.
And now it wants to give me a hard time. So I don't know, man.
It was good for 3 beers.
Let's see here. Yeah, we're 3 beers in. All right. I'm going to try and roll with it for now.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this again. Welcome to the Instigators Hockey Show. That's Chris Kotsopoulos. I'm Paulie D. Welcome to the show. Got the Blues, got the Panthers. Something's happening behind me. I got the Instigators hockey shirt. And We're ready to go. Looks like the signal is starting to sit back and relax. Barry, what's up, buddy? Just want to say hi, Barry.
I'll be on his show next week sometime. I'm not positive when, but one day next week I'm going to be on his show. Maybe you should do this.
I'm glad to see he's back. I'm glad to see he's feeling better. So that's good. All right. Enough of the niceness. Let's get to work here. We got things to do there, big boy. What do you want to do first?
Oh, let's talk. Let's go right to
your favorite subject. Let's go to Katsy's favorite subject.
I'm not starting. You go ahead and start then.
Actually, it's Katsy's favorite subject, 1A and 1B. We'll start with 1B, the All-Star game. And we'll start with 1A, Katsy's favorite subject.
When you asked me a question earlier before we went on about what is the All-Star game, I have no clue. And
well,
honestly,
this is controversial. This is kind of controversial, I think, and Katsy's going to have a lot to say on this, so it'll be fun. All-Star game, Alex Ovechkin apparently has COVID and looks like won't be able to participate. But, Katz, what's strange about that is his replacement. Why don't you talk about it?
Well, it's Tom Wilson. He's replacing Alex Ovechkin. It was kind of funny when I first read about it this morning that, the Great Ape or a Great Eight or whatever you guys call it.
The Great Ape.
He came up with COVID protocol today, and I was right away. I thought it was suspicious. I'm going to just tell you what I thought at first, and now I'm going to tell you what I think now. At first, I'm going, he just doesn't want to play in the All-Star game. He wants to take the time off. But that changed. My mind changed really quickly when I found out that Washington actually is playing a game tonight, so they could probably use his, one-time shot. I'll always say he's a great scorer, but he's not playing tonight either, so he's going to miss the All-Star game. And they took a teammate of his, Tom Wilson, to replace him. And whether people like that or not, or think anything about that or not, I know there's a lot of people that don't like Tom Wilson. I don't like him when he plays the Rangers, but I'd love to have him on the Ranger team, to be quite honest with you. And does anybody know that he's got 31 points already this year?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, see? It's not like he can't play the game as well, even though he's done a few things in his day. But I always said that there's certain players in history, and Tom Wilson's one of them, that, he did what he had to do to get to the National Hockey League and let his game come afterwards, and he's showing it the last couple of years that he can score goals and he can actually play the game as well. So, like him or not, good for him replacing Alex Ovechkin. But 31 points, Paulie, out of a tough guy.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm
sure you'll be glued to the television set to make sure we watch this All-Star game, though, right?
Well, I kind of have fun with it. I like the competition.
Don't you have a couple Pelicans or something to go see that day or something?
Yeah, I like the skills competition. It's fun. I know what you're talking about. The game is just, I think they should do something other than play a game. I think they should have more competition than the skills and stuff like that. It's kind of fun to watch, but the game itself is.
Yeah, and there's a couple of Ranger guys. I mean, Adam Fox is not going to make it either because of his injury. So,
yeah,
certain teams that are looking for their star players to be there. If you guys miss them because of injuries, COVID, whatever, and probably some guys that just don't want to go. Just being honest here. I mean, I can make an excuse for anybody.
No, I know. I definitely agree. I have to tell you, it reminds me of when was it Jody Shelley? I think we did it. Remember when he made the All-Star game? Or no.
It wasn't Jody Shelley.
I know. Hold on.
The big giant. I can't remember his name now.
He was a Ranger too.
Rangers. Well, that was a fan vote in
it. John Scott.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he made it because they allowed the fans to vote, and I thought it was a pretty cool thing to get somebody like him in there. The guy's a good guy and everything.
Yeah.
He couldn't help but being a big guy for what he was and stuff like that. And everybody wanted to fight him and stuff like that. So that was actually kind of funny and kind of cool at the same time.
Very, very cool. Very cool. Love that stuff. I love that stuff. That's always a good feel-good story when the fans get to vote for, somebody who wouldn't normally be there, and then it just goes to show you that there's so many different elements of the game that the fans appreciate. It's not just about the superstars. It's about the role players and the guys who actually make room for other players, and the kind of hockey that you and I absolutely love, and
but don't you think sometimes, Paulie, when the fans are allowed to vote in any kind of All-Star game, they just put names? I'm not saying John Scott. I think that was a good time Charlie story. But don't you think sometimes when a fan's allowed to vote, they just put certain names there just to dick with the league?
I mean, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's stuff that, people like to fool around and see what happens. I mean, I appreciate stuff like that. I'll be honest with you. I think it's
listen.
fun.
Ever since the invention of computers and all this crap that we use today, keyboard warriors, Paul. So somebody, there's people just dicking around all the time.
I see a lot of those in my day.
Voting this guy in or voting that person in. But John Scott was a great story, and then good for him. And he's turned out to have a nice little podcast himself doing these days. So maybe we'll hook up with him one day.
Yeah, I like those stories. I love those stories. I love the stories that they tell about the certain guys that they anticipated fighting, or the stuff that happens afterwards, or just that kind of thing.
One of these days we'll get into it how it was then and compared to today, okay, or the last 20 years. We'll get into it one day.
I listened to a couple of stories Ty Domi shared. I thought they were pretty hilarious. So.
Oh, he would know. He would know. I mean, Ty Domi spent a lifetime in the penalty box, He would know.
He actually told a story about the guy that fell in the box with him, and he was throwing punches.
Philadelphia?
Yeah. He actually became friends with that guy.
I remember watching that because I do live in Philadelphia territory here in Pennsylvania, but I'm so close to the Rangers and Devil families too. So I remember watching that game live. I just roared laughing. I'm saying this guy was, obviously thinking that plexiglass was going to keep him safe from Ty Domi, but boy, I bet you when he felt that thing collapse, and he was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
What?
So to cover it really quick, because I remember the story, I was cracking up, and I mean, obviously, I'm going to paraphrase through it, and it's not my story; it's Ty's story. But to make it long story short, I remember him talking about it. The guy was trying to sue him personally. And I believe he was trying to sue him personally and whatever. And Ty was talking about, he's wrapped up in, this whole thing. We're trying to get this thing settled with the guy. Finally, Ty said to his lawyer, he's like, give me the guy's phone number. Apparently, Ty Domi called him, said, hey, listen, what do we got to do to squish this? I'll get you seats. He got him seats, like really good seats to one of the Maple Leafs game, met him afterwards the game. And he just got friendly with them. And it wound up where, the guy dropped the lawsuit and everything else. So it's just really interesting to hear the story. But Ty has a great sense of humor, and he told the story. It was very funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to, next time I do bump into Ty once in a while throughout the years, and I'll have to ask him about that. I'm still trying to figure out what was he suing him for? About squirting water on him?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Obviously people try to sue for anything.
Well, this is America, and America loves to sue for anything and everything. So,
all right, let's see here. All right. I want to do a couple of things.
All right, shoot, buddy. Go ahead.
I don't know what you have on the agenda, but I'm going to go. I mean, obviously, we have to do pretenders and contenders.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we talked about Tom Wilson, the All Star game. I think that's important. I'm getting a lot of Ranger questions. People want to know, Chris, do you know what Adam Fox's injury really is?
No.
Okay, so the answer there is no, everyone. And then
I don't think it's serious. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
That I'm pretty sure of, but what he actually has, no. I think it's just a little rest and relaxation. And he's got 2 weeks off now.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be a long time on the injury.
What about Kako? What's Kako's injury?
They say it's an upper body injury or something. I'm not sure about that, but I guess he's ready to go.
Okay.
He's ready to go. He was skating the other day, so he's ready to go.
That's right.
What about your boy Heedle? Anybody asking about him?
No. Everyone wants to know what the trades are going to be. If they think, everyone keeps asking me what's the trades this year? Who we going for and who we letting go? I have a feeling you're right, Chris. I think Heedle is well talked about being moved for the New York Rangers. But
I think it's possible that he's going to be moved. I think there's probably going to be an addition to that. Some of the other younger guys down in the minors. Listen, we're probably going to go through this soon, but I'll just do a little preemptive strike on it. The Rangers need another top six forward. They need one. They need a consistent top six forward that contributes offensively. You can't just rely on Kreider. And let's really give Chris Kreider an applause here. 33 goals, buddy. On his way to 50 for sure, as far as I'm concerned. But you can't just rely on Chris Kreider and Artemi Panarin because there's been a Jad. I see Alex Lafreniere's popped the last couple games. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
They're still going to need some more. I mean, I know Strome still contributes once in a while, but they're still going to need somebody else. And they have lots to play with when it comes to players to trade for even if it's a rental for a year.
Yeah.
And trust me, I think the Rangers have done a pretty good job with depth in their organization when it comes to guys that have potential to come up to play in the next few years. Maybe not right now. So you're not going to really diminish anything by trading a couple of these prospects and stuff like that, in my opinion. I'm not 100%, but I think I'm about 75% that they got to find another D-man. Right now, I love Braden Schneider's game right now, and I told you about him. I said it to people at the beginning of the year. He should have started with the Rangers. So if he continues to improve at the pace that he's improving, he's going to be a solid guy back there that's going to help the team quite a bit and give like a guy like Trouba a little relief back there. You know what I mean, ice time wise. And K'Andre Miller again playing well, but for the life of me, hit somebody, please.
Yeah.
I mean, start hitting somebody. It'll make you so much better as a player. He doesn't. I'm not sure he understands that or not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he's still. He's right out of college. A year, 100+ games in the NHL and all that. But if he starts to get a little meaner with these guys when it comes to body contact, they will give him so much more space to utilize that skating ability of his, the puck handling ability of his. But until he does that, it's a free for all for forwards on him. I know we're beating a dead horse here because that's all we've talked about when it comes to K'Andre Miller, you and I. But those are the things they need to improve on. The Rangers need to improve a little bit up front, top six player, and maybe another defenseman because goaltending's okay. Obviously, we got the best goalie, I believe, in the league right now. It's Shesterkin. And as much as people, get on George, he's not a bad second fiddle. Okay?
No, he's not.
Okay? So stop crushing the guy.
Let me tell you something. And a lot of people had said, they didn't understand why he played against Carolina. And I can't tell you why he did or didn't. But I tell you what, that loss wasn't on him at all. I thought he played.
They could have put both of them in the same net at the same time. Wouldn't have mattered. They played lousy that night overall.
I thought they played well. I thought he showcased well. I think if Georgiev is given a chance to play every night, I think you'd see a better game out of him. But in the end, like you said, I think we have, Shesterkin is fantastic. And I think Georgiev is a good backup. And, he's going to get some playing time. People do ask me, why does he get so much playing time? And I don't know the answer to that.
Well, the reason why he's getting so much playing time is because Shesterkin wasn't in the lineup the whole year so far. He's been out a little bit. He's had a few injury problems himself over his career so far. But when he's healthy, I believe he's the best goalie in the league right now. And having Georgiev as your backup is, like I said, it's not a bad thing. Is he Shesterkin? No. But usually backup goalies aren't your number one goalies. They don't have that ability.
Right.
But he's good enough.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. If people don't like it, they can, whatever. They can do what they want, say what they want.
We're going to bounce in and out of the Rangers. I think before we're going to get into contenders and pretenders, but before we do that, and again, I don't want to talk too much Rangers. We'll talk Rangers in the end. Yeah. But before we do pretenders and contenders, I want to talk about the ceremony at MSG, and more importantly, I'm going to share my frustration with people. I was so livid that I didn't even look at the spelling on my post. That's how mad I was because it was scrambling trying to find the game. It really pissed me off. I buy the NHL package so I can watch the games. I'm scrambling. Okay, they're playing the Minnesota Wild. Minnesota Wild have a pregame show. Okay, and effing the MSG networks. I did not watch 1 minute of the ceremony. I went and had to buy the NHL network, the actual network, and I caught maybe 5 minutes of the freaking thing. I never anticipated the fact that it wouldn't be televised. I figured I had the package.
Yeah.
A lot of times they put an asterisk saying pregame show, and that's what I figured. I just figured that. I work, I get home 7 o'clock. I put the TV on. I'm like, are you effing kidding me? Where is this thing? So before we talk about the ceremony, again, Gary Bettman needs to be fired. This is the biggest city in the game. You got Toronto, you got New York, you got Detroit. These are the biggest cities in the game. How do you not cover something like this? If you have any hockey knowledge, if you have any love for your sport, something like this should be on display. Here's a guy, like you said, played 15 years with the team, is being exonerated and lifted to the rafters in one of the biggest cities in hockey, and you're not smart enough to make sure it's effing public, it's on TV. And it just drives me nuts with how stupid this league is ran. It's ridiculous. Can you imagine if Toronto was lifting Gilmore's jersey or anybody's jersey, and people in Toronto can't watch the effing game, or people anywhere that watch hockey can't watch that ceremony?
Yeah, I got to watch it. I'm just telling you, I got the MSG network, but I got to watch it. Now, the only thing I'm going to say is to calm you down a little bit. It's like tonight, okay? When you and I were talking pre-show, I was sitting there at my desk and flicking the channels. I didn't know there was a game on tonight on TNT. So is it possible if you look back on that day that maybe it was on TNT that night instead of?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Okay. I
tried.
I'm just going to – I agree with you because I gave up on the NHL package about 4 years ago. Remember we went through this on our road trip?
I have no choice because I
get any game, anytime, blah, blah, blah. Well, I live in an area where if it's Pittsburgh at home, I don't get it with the hockey package. If it's Philadelphia at home, I don't get it with the hockey package. If it's the New Jersey Devils at home with the hockey packs, I don't get it. So that's why I remember telling you this. I canceled mine. Now, and I'm going to spill the beans here. Paulie, from now on, if you cannot get a Ranger game, text me. I'll fix it for you. I have a place where you can go to watch every Ranger game.
Nice.
Okay?
Perfect.
I agree. A lot, even last night's game, ESPN Plus. Like, here, you know what I think of that? Right there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to go to ESPN Plus for 3 special games. Like, really? But, I understand what you're saying. Biggest night in New York this year, Henrik Lundqvist retirement night. All the big boys were there. Messier, Leach, everybody,
Getting $1,000 a seat.
You, as a diehard fan, didn't get to see it.
Yeah. Broke my heart.
Sucks for you.
Well, here's the thing. I was, fortunate enough to log into YouTube and watch it afterwards. But the point was, if I'm a businessman and I'm promoting a game that is looking to make revenue, instead of putting fucking names of advertisement on a helmet, I think of the better networks to broadcast my team. You know how people make money in the world? By sales. How do you sell things? You get the information out. Use TV. You ever watch TV? I bet you see more insurance commercials than you've ever saw in your life. The mindset should be, I need to advertise the thing of this game that people fall in love with. You hear them chanting Henrik. You know it's New York City. That's a big part of what the NHL is. It's an original 6 franchise. Be smart. This is the game you want everywhere you can get. Instead, you minimize it. You leave it in a box somewhere. You leave it in a corner somewhere. And that's not good business.
I think my boy Curly agrees with you.
Let's have a drink. But anyway, those things are so frustrating.
I don't want to let you off on that get off to another subject yet, because even a game last night, for example, on ESPN Plus, right?
Right.
Was that not like game of the week?
Yeah.
Like the Rangers are playing the top team.
Right. Right. Two good teams.
If you don't have ESPN Plus, or you don't have a
Hulu,
a gee whiz son like mine,
right?
You're going to watch it.
Right.
So, I don't know.
It's aggravating.
Even TNT, I'm okay with it. They got all the greats in the, Gretzky and, a couple other guys not quite as great as Gretzky in the studio and all that stuff. They got the right guy who co-hosting it. If you don't watch TNT, how are you going to find out that the game's on TNT tonight? Not everybody watches the NHL channel. I don't even know if they advertise it on there.
Right.
But I agree with you. They got to do a better job. I mean, I didn't know the game was on until I was screwing around with the change before we went on the other night. So I could see it on my big screen over in the next room, but I didn't know the game was on tonight.
Right.
I agree with you. In general, they should make it more easy accessible, and make it cheap enough for people that they're willing to pay for it. Some money's better than no money.
Right.
You lost me as a subscriber for the package, though. Like, you lost me.
Years ago, too.
Yeah, you lost me. I'll never do it again. Won't do it. I don't care. The great words of the Chicago Bears quarterback, former quarterback, Jay Cutler. Don't care. Let's move. I'm going to move past that side of it, but I wanted to make that because that's a good point. That's a good point.
I'm just so frustrated with the way Gary Bettman has handled commercializing and bringing more people to this game. He's screwed the rules up. He's changed the game dramatically. Yet, for me, to see my team with an advertisement on their helmet, to see the things moving network from network to network. This is the third network in 25 years, and the guy still can't get it right, to be honest with you. I'm sorry.
Well, the only reason why they move from network to network to network is because somebody's paying a little bit more. Is it comparable? Yeah. It's never going to be comparable to football contracts or the baseball or the basketball. Let's call it what it is. I mean, but like I said, if you want people to get interested in a sport, you have to make it easily accessible.
Absolutely.
And if they have to pay through their teeth to watch it or do it or whatever, and they don't want to do it, all they have to do is call me, and I'll get them off the site that they can watch it on. Just kidding. Well,
I'm going to just throw that aside. We'll talk about things like that, I'm sure, in the future. I do want to say before, because I want to get into some of the other things that we have for topics, but I want to say that, I had posted this, and I truly feel this way. The love affair between the New York Ranger fans and Henrik Lundqvist, rightfully so. This guy, for many years, a solid decade, stood on his head, competed like nobody ever could, and really, I think you had said it when we were, before we hit the live, was really kind of put this team in positions to win. And I understand they never won the big one, but, he has tons of accolades. And I am not one that has numbers on jerseys or names on jerseys. I really don't do that unless you're a icon in the game. And
so that's why you don't have one of mine.
I have an autographed picture though. But Henrik Lundqvist is one of those guys where lived and died a New York Ranger, presented himself well, did many, many things, and really was just a hardworking guy. And, night in and night out, we would watch games, talk about games, cover games. And I looked at my old notes on how many times I said, Hank kept him in there. Hank won this game single-handedly. Just Hank for many, many years. And very glad to see him up in the rafters. He deserved it. What a shame the guy didn't win a Stanley Cup. I honestly, and a lot of fans don't like this, but when he was supposed to go to Washington, I was hoping the guy was going to win a Stanley Cup because he's one of the guys that I would have loved to see, like Raymond Bourque. Ray played his entire career with the Boston Bruins and had to go to Colorado to win a Stanley Cup. And everybody was happy for him. Andrew Chuck went to the Lightning, won a Stanley Cup. Everyone was happy for that player. And he was one of those players where I didn't care where he went. I wanted him to win because I felt like he deserved to win.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to argue about anything negative about Henrik Lundqvist. I know there are some detractors out there saying he didn't win and all that, but you know what? Neither did Eddie Jockman. Neither did Rod Gilbert. Neither did Jean Rattel.
Right.
Neither did Vic Hadfield. Neither did Harry Howe. Those guys' jerseys are up in the up in the ceiling there at Madison Square Garden, hanging there with all kinds of accolades. So the King, if I'm correct, I think it was a 7th round draft choice.
Yeah, it was great.
Just to show you how good the scouting is sometimes. But he worked his ass off.
Went like 250.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
He worked his ass off to become who he was, and he was definitely the cement, the concrete, the foundation of that team for a long time. There was a couple seasons there, and I'm not even talking about the Stanley Cup run, but I think the year that I don't want to say it, but I will, against the Devils. I think he won 20 games alone that year on his own. Or you take those 20 games away from that team, they don't even make the playoffs. I mean, he had more than one season like that where he carried the team on their back. And this is at a time where I'll be dead honest. I thought the Rangers didn't protect him very well either. He got run over all the time and knocked around and everything else. And it bothers an old school guy like me to see that your goaltenders get the shit beat out of them on a consistent basis and nobody does anything about it. But he survived, and he's worthy of it, Paul. That's all there is to it. Does everybody win all the time? I mean, I don't know. There's 5,000 plus guys that ever played in the National Hockey League. I don't think all 5,000 of us won a Stanley Cup. There's a very small percentage.
Yeah,
guys that actually won the Stanley Cup, and for some they won it 10 or 11 times, like Rocket Richard's, brother, the Pocket Rocket. You know what I mean? So you can't put it against them for not winning a Stanley Cup, and you can't put it against the other guys up there for not winning a Stanley Cup. We know Graves, we know Messier, we know Leach, we know Richter. Richter probably had the most outstanding season a Ranger goalie ever had. And at that time, 54 years or 64 years. I don't know what it was.
54.
So, yeah. So like he deserves it. They deserve it. I don't. This is. If you got anything else to say, I'm going to lead into what I want to talk about now. About the jersey stuff. Now, to a lot of you out there, it's going to be biased because I'm great friends with the guy. But why in the hell is Ron Greschner's jersey not up there? I don't understand it. He's fourth all time in games played for a Ranger. He's seventh, I believe, in scoring all time with a Ranger. He played 16 straight years as a Ranger. And I'll even add that he's the leading penalty man at all time for a New York Ranger, which is nobody even knows about that. Most people don't know. But until Brian Leach came around, he held all the records.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Brad Parker. It was Ron Greschner that owned him.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand. One side of the coin, they say you don't need to be a winner, and the other side, you need to be a winner. So which one is it? His tenure there was 16 straight years. You really want to get down to the nuts and bolts of it? 3 guys up there right now. There's only 3 guys up in that rafter right now that played their whole careers with the New York Rangers. Can you name them? I can. Ron Gilbert, who is Mr. Ranger, no matter what anybody says.
Right.
He is always going to be Mr. Ranger, Ron Gilbert, number 1. Mike Richter played his whole career with the New York Rangers. And now, because Henrik Lundqvist did not step on the ice for the Washington Capitals, he's the 3rd guy up there that played their whole career with the New York Rangers.
Yeah.
All the other guys up there, not taking anything away from them, they deserve everything they got. They didn't play their whole career with the Rangers. So I think there's something about loyalty towards one team, staying with one team, playing with one team, enjoying the city that you play in, the people getting to know you and all that. And let's face it, Ron Greschner was made for New York. We all know about the outside stuff, but here's a guy from Good Soil, Saskatchewan. You know how big that place is? I can count how many people there in one hand. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly.
And he adapted to a city as a 19-year-old. He only played a little time in the minors. I think it was Providence Reds, I think they were called at the time.
Right.
And I believe there should be some kind of loyalty to players who played for one team and one team only. And if you're going to go to the stats are there, people. They're there. They're worthy of it. So that's my plea. Someday, and he should be next as far as I'm concerned. That's it. I don't know what you think, and I don't know what the people think, but I truly believe that. And yes, yeah. I'm a little bit biased because I'm very good friends with him. But the numbers are there, and he's worthy of it. As worthy as any of those guys up there when it comes to how you're voting, doing this for one guy and doing this for another, and then trying to figure out why they're up there.
Well, Barry has a great question, and I don't know the answer to this. You'd have to help me, Kotz, if you know. Who picks? Who decides like in the who decides?
I do not think there's like a group of people. I think it comes from management. I think it comes from management. It's
Owners?
I think it starts with management. Not it starts right there. I'm sure the owner might have a say in it too. He's stuff like that. And Jimmy Dolan's been a pretty good guy when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
Goes Glenn Sater, but I just feel that it's long overdue because I go back and the Rangers have done a really good job with this stuff overall on who was selected and how they set it up and the fans get involved and all that. I've been to a couple of these things, some of the biggest ones like Adam Graves night and stuff like that.
Adam Graves, great example. I mean, this guy is not.
Well, it's why I didn't mention him by name, but it's not because he won a Stanley Cup that he's up there. It's because he's a beloved person. They love him. He's just one of those guys that the city loves. And he earned that right by, yes, producing on the ice. Yes, by bringing a Stanley Cup home. But, I just wonder what the rules are. Like,
yeah, I know, I agree.
Stuff like that. If you're going by stats and stuff, I would like to think that your tenure and your longevity with the team is deserving of it too.
Sure, because you make a great point. Adam Graves, he did have the 52-goal season.
Yes.
But the reason he's on the rafters is not because of that season. It's because of the love affair that the city had with him. Because that man brought his hard hat and his lunchbox every game. And he worked hard every game. And he just gave everything he could every game. He was a nut and bolt kind of guy. He was a blood, sweat, and tear type of guy. And that really is really strong to your point when you got a guy like Greshner, who, first of all, like you said, most penalty minutes, longevity, just so many different things. Spent his whole career with them.
Well, he went through the ups and downs of that team. He started in the 70s when the Emile Francis thing was basically over, where they had a couple runs at the Stanley Cup, and then he got to a Stanley Cup in 79-80, and then we came close the next season, or 2 seasons later in 80-81. I mean, he's gone through all the machinations for 16 years on that team with coaches, this, that, and he was still able to maintain a pretty consistent, form of play for that team. And I just think longevity and tenure should have something to say with it, with who you put up there. So the way some people think of it is that if I come in, and I played 10 years somewhere else, and I come in for 1 year and we win a Stanley Cup and I score 6 overtime goals to win it all, does that mean my jersey deserves to be up there? I don't think so. I think I should be remembered for what I did.
Sure.
But I only did it for 20-something games.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I feel kind of shitty about it because the Andy Bathgate and the Harry Howell night, I grew up watching these guys.
Yeah.
I was so happy to be there. I got to meet everybody.
Right.
Frank Mahovlich, you name it, Bobby Hull, all these guys that were there. All these guys from the original 6 were there. And I was included in them, going to the party afterwards and all that stuff. I was like pinching myself, even though, I'm a guy that played in the same league as these guys, but these are the golden guys.
Right.
They waited too long for Andy Bathgate and Harry Howell because half the Ranger fans of today don't even know who they are.
Didn't even know. Yeah, that's a good point. Very good point.
And the building was not packed for their night.
Right.
Adam Graves, you couldn't get a ticket.
No.
You couldn't get a ticket for Lundqvist unless you wanted to pay through the teeth because you were trying. Remember?
Yeah.
So I just feel that's who I feel should go in next. And contrary to what Larry Brooks thinks, I think Larry Brooks one time in the post said that Gresh is one of the great Rangers that doesn't deserve to be up there. I think you're full of shit, Larry. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
It's a great point. You made some really good points there. All right.
And we go back to the other guys like Brian Leetch. We don't have to explain that, do we?
Yeah. No.
Mark Messier, really? We have to explain that? Greatest captain probably in New York sports history, as far as I'm concerned.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? So I don't have to explain myself about the other ones, but
no.
I think I've done my duty. Gresham, you get your if they give you a call one of these days, remember who helped you.
All right.
You get a beer. You bring up the next topic.
Well, I just did. Yeah, I need a beer myself. Grab me one. No, I just think that I'm very appreciative, and I think it was well deserved. So, a hand to the New York Rangers for making sure.
Henry.
Actually, when we were on Blog Talk Radio, I have that.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm gonna figure out how to get it up.
You also had that thing about my little comment about Ovechkin too. Remember?
Yeah. If it's anybody else except for Alex Ovechkin, that's an automatic game misconduct.
Yeah. But
I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna start playing it.
Now you're gonna have to start getting to the chant Igor.
Right?
Igor.
All right, all right, so let's do this. We still have to do contenders and pretenders.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's start there. Let me open up this this tablet and let's get into it.
You know, I've been on skates for the last couple of weeks for the first time.
Oh, big boy.
I did a couple of clinics for the New York Rangers, and they went very well. One in Long Beach, one in Millbrook, and I actually did a ball hockey.
Whoa! That's grassroots.
In Harlem. We're in the Bronx, sorry.
I'm going to grab a beer, and I'll be right back.
All right, I'm going to take over a little bit here. Paulie, you can hear me, right? So I'm not sure if we covered this, but I think we missed last week's show, so it's been 2 weeks. Did we talk about the passing of Clark Gillies?
Oh, shit, no, we didn't.
Oh boy. I was absolutely – look, I didn't play long enough for the New York Rangers to have that hate for the Islanders or the hate for the Devils or the hate for the Philadelphia. Oh, the Flyers, it only takes 1 year to hate them. So
yeah.
I was really shocked to hear about Clark Gillies because, as you know, I play in the Joe Namath Celebrity Golf Tournament for the last dozen years or so, or 10 to 12 years. And, Clark's there and a whole bunch of celebrities from the NBA, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just, tickled pink to be part of them. And I actually talked to Clark Gillies about 3 years ago, and I had heard that he had gone through some medical problems. And I'm not going to get into it, but I asked, we sat and talked about 5 minutes, and I just said, you look good, and everything's good. He said, yeah, everything's fine, and blah, blah, blah. I knew what he had, and he knew what he had, obviously, and everything was in remission and stuff like that. So when I heard that he passed away at 67, I was like, I started thinking about, like, my time playing against him, and what he was as a hockey player. The New York Islanders were, in history, probably one of the most perfectly put teams together for a dynasty. They had great goaltending. They had big-time defense. And somebody that never gets talked about a lot is obviously Dennis Potvin. And when we talk about the greatest defenseman of all time, you hardly hear his name. Why? I don't know. He was one of the top 5-6 defensemen of all time. And you got Brian Trottier, you got Mike Bossy, you got all these guys up there. But then you had Clark Gillies. And then you had Bobby Neisner. Two guys that could actually play the game and play tough guy roles. And I had to play against Clark Gillies for 10 friggin' years. And let me tell you something. They do not win one Stanley Cup without him in the lineup. Period.
Well, that's strong.
Period. He took it to the Boston Bruins the first time they played the Bruins in the playoffs, where the Bruins were the big bad Bruins, the big bullies on the street, and Clark Gillies and his partner, Bobby Neisner, they took care of business, and that let the Islanders win those series 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And playing against him, he was just they called him Jethro. He was just a heavy load. I had some. I'm not going to sit there and tell you lies here. I had some really good physical contact with him, but I knocked him on his ass probably more than he knocked me on my ass. I actually dropped my gloves with him in the playoffs that 1 year with the Rangers, and I didn't lose. I was scared shit, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I was scared shit when we fought. And I feel really bad. 67 years, well, that's a young guy. And I'm going to stand by. They do not. There is no New York Island dynasty without Clark Gillies in the lineup, period.
Wow. That's a strong
He scared the shit out of all of us out there. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Every time I played against him, I was like, oh, I want to say the word after, but they go, oh, Christ, what's going to happen now? You know what I mean? Like, you always have to be aware of him out there. He was that dominant when it comes to that part of the game, the physical part of the game. And it's not just fighting. He did score 30 goals, I think, a couple times. He's in the Hall of Fame, so he couldn't be just in the Hall of Fame for fighting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Great player, great person to know. And it's starting to happen too often, Paul. Like, too many guys from my era are starting to drop, and I'm in that category too now. So that's all. I just wanted to mention Clark Gillies a little bit.
Yep. And I can tell you briefly, as a New York Ranger fan my entire life, third generation raised inside of the Rangers. Excuse me. My father lived and died a Ranger fan and never saw the Stanley Cup. So that's crazy. But I remember those years where the Rangers played the Islanders and the Islanders were winning and they were a dynasty. And a lot of what you say is very true. You know, Clark Gillies was very much a part of that dynasty with those New York Islanders. And as much as I hated him, guys like you and Barry Beck were the saving grace because the Islanders used to just throw the Rangers around a little bit for a little time there. But very much like what you said, those dynasty years, Clark Gillies was a huge part of that front that they had, and very sad to hear. I have a lot of close friends and relatives that are big Islander fans, and I know how heartbreaking it is to lose such a fantastic part of that.
He was a great ambassador for the team too. So
yeah, absolutely. He stayed on Long Island too, didn't he?
Yeah, like I said, I've met him a couple times, and I've seen him a couple times, and it's kind of like still a little nervous to talk to him the first few times in retirement because the way we battled each other all those years. But I remember the 80-81 season, and I'll stand by this. Man for man, we were the toughest New York Ranger team that ever played. Okay.
Right. Nicky, right?
It was loaded. We were loaded. We had Hawks with our back.
Boxcar, Nicky,
Laidlaw, Gresh, Duguay, Eddie Johnstone. We can go down the list.
Eddie Johnstone, yes.
Like the Maloney's, they dropped their gloves too. You know what I mean? But just to make a long story short, we had a tough season that year, regular season, but we made it in the playoffs, and we figured we're going to go play Los Angeles in the first round, and they were the fourth place team overall. We were 13th. And how were we going to beat them? All you got to do is ask Ron Duguay these days how we beat them. We gooned them.
A little bit of thuggery.
Well, we gooned them. We made them not want to touch the puck.
Yeah.
That was fine. We won that series. Then we played St. Louis, who was first overall up until the last week of the season where the Islanders overtook them, in the last week.
Yeah.
And how were we going to beat them? Ron Duguay will tell you. We gooned them. When it came to the Islanders in the semifinals, it was pretty tough to goon that team because Clark Gillies, Bobby Nystrom, Gary Howard, Gordy Lane. Yeah. We had a lot of tough guys on that team, so it was hard. It was hard to okay, we're gonna pose our intimidation on you. It's not that we were scared of them. I remember them.
Right.
Mike Clark Gillies in the playoffs that year, but it was hard to goon that team because that's when I say that a perfectly put team together. They built a perfect team. Fantastic goaltending, strong defense, great scoring, and if you wanted to play the nasty part of the game, boy, did they have it. That's why they won 4 in a row. That's why that record will never be broken. I don't know how many playoff series they won in a row, like 35 or something like that. I don't know what it is. 19 series in a row. It'll never be broken.
Uh-oh.
What?
I just killed the chat room, I think. It's not about All right. Anyway,
You shouldn't be touching things.
I just killed the damn chat room, man.
You're like a child in a toy store touching.
I know. I'm asking Barry if he can find those fights on video.
Well, there is a video of me and Clark Gillies, but it's not the full context of it. It's basically the end of it, where I realized that I'm alive. So I had to play it up. You got to play it up.
Yeah. No, that's good stuff, man. That's real good stuff. So, all right. We need to get serious here with pretenders and contenders. So
my list is getting smaller and smaller now.
All right. Well, here we go. You ready? We're going to start. We're going to jump back and forth. Colorado Avalanche.
Yes.
Contender?
Yes.
Are they the Western Conference team to beat? Is that where you're going?
Yes.
What about Nashville Predators?
No. You like them, I know that. I don't.
Cops, what do you think about the Wild?
They looked really good against the Rangers.
They sure did.
But I'm not convinced of them anymore. I think at one time they were first place in their division. I don't think they're a contender. That's just me.
Here it is. I found
the chat room again?
Yeah.
Give them an update.
I'm trying to do a couple things. All right. In the Pacific.
You haven't given me your rebuttals either, though. What do you think? You think Colorado or not?
Colorado for sure.
All right.
Nashville, I'm on the fence with now. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not convinced. I was impressed with Minnesota's game, how they kept coming. That's a team that has a little bit of everything. I'm pretty impressed. I was impressed with the way they play the Rangers. If I'm admitting, I haven't watched a lot of their games. That's probably the third game I've seen of them.
Well, the Rangers are kind of dog shit that night too.
Agreed. So, the Rangers came out hot and then just
Minnesota took it to them. I'm not going to deny it. Though.
Crap the bed, yeah. What about Vegas? How do you feel about the Knights?
I like them. I think they're a contender.
57 points right now. 27 wins, 3 losses. So that's really some of the contenders over in the West. Let's get over to the Eastern Conference. The Panthers, for sure, are the real deal. I think they're definitely contenders.
Earlier in the year, I was a little suspicious of their, fire wagon hockey up and down the ice. But you know what? It's working for them. So, yeah, I think they're a contender. I've changed my mind on them. I think if they have to, they'll get into a high-scoring game with you if that's what you want.
Yeah, they can be very scary. Let's see here. All right. How do you feel about Pittsburgh, Cots?
I think they're obviously moved up a little bit in my mind, but I still don't think they're a contender yet.
Well, it's funny because they're coming, and they're coming hard.
I told you that in the last show.
I know.
Weeks ago.
They're coming hard. They're coming hard.
They've moved up the ladder a little bit, but I'm just, I'm going to hold
they're
off.
2 points behind the Rangers, but they have 3 games in hand.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
Yep. Again, Tampa Bay Lightning. I definitely feel they're a contender.
You're probably right. I just don't think they're going to three-peat. That's all. I'm going to buy it. Somebody will get them.
Yeah, I hate to think of it that way too, because I brought that up before. 3-peat. I mean, with an asterisk for sure.
Oh, there you go with that.
All right.
They're pretty good. I'm not going to deny it, but I just don't think they're going to three-peat. That's all.
What do you think about Carolina?
I think they're for real.
Do you think they're the scariest team in the East?
Remember how quietly I said they were doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's still pretty quiet, which is the way they like it. Even though it shows in the standings now, and I think their peers see them, but I don't think the media and the fanfare and all that, is still there for Carolina. But I see enough of that their game that I think they're good. They're going to be a tough out in the playoffs, so I think they're a contender.
Yeah, they really have showed everybody that they're here to stay, and they're the team to beat. They can play every little bit.
They're solid. They're solid in goal. They're solid. They're like the Islanders, except without the fighting part.
Yeah,
they're solid. They're very solid all through that lineup.
And they got a couple big guys. I mean, they can forecheck. They can keep the puck in the zone. They can do some things, man.
They're fast.
Yeah, I was very impressed last night with the Rangers' speed. Last night they showed some speed, I thought. But we'll talk about that in a minute here. So Carolina, Pittsburgh. We got 2 left here. Well, actually 4.
Go ahead.
What do you think of Boston? You think they're just gonna?
I know they've gotten a little better, but I don't think they're a contender. For some reason,
I don't disagree. I think they're an aged element right now.
It might be an aged element and all that, but there's so many more teams I think are better than them right now in the East. Yeah. That's all. It's not just like 2 or 3. It's probably 4 or 5.
Are you surprised to see Washington as a wild card?
No, because I think I told you that from the beginning. And it's not my bias toward my hate towards Alex Ovechkin. Right. For some reason they're getting a little older too with their stars. That includes Alex, even though he's still producing. But Backstrom, he's getting a little older. I think their goaltending suspect, and I think their defense is suspect. So I'm not surprised.
Right.
Well, could they be dangerous in the playoffs? Because you know how the playoffs are. It doesn't matter. It's all starting on a clean slate. Sure, they could be dangerous. Anybody that makes the playoffs these days in the National Hockey League can be dangerous. Okay. Sure. It's not like it was 30, 40, 50 years ago where the last place team had a shot. You know what I mean?
Right. Agreed.
It's a little different now.
Well, let's talk about the 2 teams you played for.
All right.
Let's start with your hometown Toronto Maple Leafs.
I still think they're a contender. They have plenty of games in hand on the teams that are above them in their division. There's a lot of offensive firepower. I know I'm repeating the same stuff. They're probably, if not the most offensively gifted team.
Really?
Well, take a look at their lineup when it comes to the scoring part.
Yeah.
It's pretty high end. Nylander, Marner, and the big daddy there.
Yeah, Matthews.
You know what I mean? Can anybody name 3 on one team like that?
Right.
Oh, that's right. Edmonton can now because they got.
I can name 2 in Edmonton.
Oh, they got Kane.
No contender.
Kane. Kane. Yeah, he scored a goal in his first game. Let's hopefully they could put him in his room and lock him in his room till game time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I believe the Leafs are a contender. I do.
All right. What about the beloved New York Rangers?
I'm still not 100% on them. They need to, like I told you earlier in the show, they need a power 6 forward. Somebody up front there that they can add. I don't care if it's a rental, whatever, who's going to contribute offensively. I'm not talking about contributing like a Panarin or Zibanejad or Kreider, but be the second, third, fourth option behind those guys. That's what they need, and I think it'd be nice to add another defenseman. And if they do that, then I'd put them as a contender completely because one thing, goaltending.
Yeah, I tell you what, too. Chris, I got to be honest with you. When you talked about Brady Schneider, you weren't kidding, man. This kid, I am so. First of all, for Adam Fox to obviously be out, this kid has logged so much ice time, and honestly, I can't point at a negative to his game. He's got all kinds of skating ability. He makes smart hockey decisions. And I am so impressed with him. He's got great legs. I think his skating, he's such a strong skater.
Very, very good skater. Very good with his hands.
I honestly, I'm so impressed with him. How old is he?
He's 22.
He better be amazing.
Oh, I think he's only 20.
He better be amazing.
You got the pad there. Look it up.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how old he is. He might be 20.
I am so freaking impressed with him. For him to come in and just play the minutes that he's playing.
He's only going to get better, Paulie.
I'm just astounded. I really just am astounded about how good he is.
I wanted that guy at the beginning of the year to start with the Rangers. I wanted him at the beginning.
I know you had said that.
My preference was to give him the green light right out of the gate. Well, I guess good things come to those who wait. And I like what he's doing. I like, obviously, Trube is the big leader back there. As good as Fox is when it comes to like offense and points and power play, I think Trube is the real leader back there right now. And again, Condrey Miller, I think there's a lot of good to his game, but I just want to see him hit a little bit more.
Holy cow. He was born in 2001.
All right, so he's 20 years old.
And
you know what? You gotta give Jeff Gordon a little credit on this one. The ex-Ranger, he's the one that moved up in the draft to get him. He moved up to get him.
Yeah, I tell you, I'm very impressed. I am very impressed for 20, 21 years old to have the, like you said all the time, the hockey sense that he has. I think his game is just – he's so pure in his game, man. I'm just so impressed. He makes good hockey decisions. His hockey IQ is so impressive for being 20, possibly 21 years old. And he's logging veteran defenseman minutes.
Oh, because if you're playing well, you're going to stay there.
Right. I like that about good. The hell's his name?
Gallant.
Yeah. Here you go. I like that about him.
Gerard. They call him the Turk. His nickname's the Turk.
Yeah. So
he went after the Rangers the other day too. After that game that they won. The other night, 3-2, he ripped them apart, saying that was still unacceptable how they played. They played like crap.
Yeah.
Giving up the goal late, having to go whatever, winning late.
I want to ask you a question. I mean, obviously, we're in the Ranger time of the segment now, but for me to say this, know where it's coming from, but I was very disappointed with Reeves against Minnesota. I thought Greenway ran around, and I thought that Ryan Reeves had plenty of opportunity to grab him and say, "You're not going to run around," and he didn't, Cons, and I was very disappointed with that.
Well, I've heard from a few people too about that. Paul, it's not the same as it was back in the day where you had your tough guys sit on the bench all game. Then when something happened, you just send them out there. Okay, it was so much different back then. There was no such thing as an instigator penalty. Okay,
yeah,
so you weren't going to be a man short. There's so many things that evolve from the way it's done today, and I'm not happy about it either. I remember I watched that game, and when a guy runs around in front of the net like he did that one time, I still say you can't always rely on one guy. Where's the pack mentality? Yeah. That's what Lundqvist missed all those years. There should have been a pack.
Oh yeah,
that's knocked him around. Okay, Shesterkin gets knocked around a little bit. They're poked after the whistle. you got to have a pack mentality. Now, was Ryan Reeves on the ice the one time that that crap happened? I don't think he was. I think he was on the bench. So now I'm torn. Okay, I agree with you and disagree with you at the same time. There's got to be a right time and a right place these days. Otherwise, you're going to put your team in a hole. You know, I don't know really what to say about it anymore. There's been times where I think he should have stepped into stuff.
Yeah.
And it hasn't happened. But I still think his overall presence in the lineup has been a positive.
Yeah.
And there's not as many episodes, cheap shots happening on the ice as there were in previous years without a guy like him on the bench. But I still think there's got to be a pack mentality too, though, Paulie. Just because I'm tougher than you doesn't mean that we both can't go after the guy.
Right.
Or whistle, or you touched our goaltender. All five skaters should be after that guy. You know what I mean? That shows how a team is. You know, team togetherness. But I'm not going to disagree with you, but I'm not going to agree with you 100% either.
Yeah.
You got to pick spots these days. It's not the way it used to be. We're okay.
Yeah.
You know, you just ran bare goalie. Next shift, I'm going to go and beat your fucking brains in. It's not the way it was.
Yeah.
It's not done that way anymore.
I just, I watched the game, and I just thought to myself, well,
that whole line you're talking about was running all over the ice.
Yeah, I thought there was definitely opportunity where Reeves could have grabbed them and said, enough's enough. But again, like you said, it's, I get it. I have to tell you that I do like Reeves' game overall. I like, he hits. I'd like to see him participate in the fisticuffs a little bit more. If I'm being honest.
Again, you're talking about a guy that's 35 years old.
Right.
Been doing it a long time. And as you get older, you don't want to do it as often. I don't care. That's just the way it is. I mean, I remember at the end of my last probably 4 years in the National Hockey League, I didn't have a lot of fights. But I fought. Who did I fight? I fought the Willie Pletz of the world, the Larry Playfairs of the world, the Bobby Proberts of the world. Those are the guys I fought.
Yeah.
So I get it, but I still think if you weigh the positives to the negatives,
sure,
just having them in the lineup deters part of the other team. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. I agreed.
If they didn't have them in the lineup, who'd do it then?
Yeah.
Whose name sitting on that bench would deter anybody from doing anything?
No, I the positives outweigh the negatives, no doubt. I saw something there that I have to say.
There's been a couple times this year where I think a lot of people thought that.
I felt a little bit disappointed, but with that,
it's also a close game too, Paulie. Remember that 3-2 game was the final.
Yeah, he's smart. He plays smart hockey. I like his game. He plays smart. He doesn't do stupid stuff. He doesn't take a lot of bad penalties. He does a lot of he's definitely hockey 101. He's well coached, well schooled. He uses his head. He doesn't seem, he's not like a Brandon Lemieux where he gets himself in trouble and things like that. Very rarely.
I still wish we had Brendan Lemieux.
Yeah, I do too. And honestly, I'll tell you who else I wish we had. I wish we had Tony DeAngelo.
Yes, I would totally agree.
Honest. I really liked him.
Well, Edmonton beat your favorite Capitals 5-3, so that helps the Rangers out a little bit.
Nice, and that's good.
Yeah, Tony D. I think wokeness got way ahead of the game there in that one and making that decision. That's just my opinion.
It's another reason why I'm glad Quinn's gone, man.
I don't think it wasn't him.
Not a Quinn fan at all.
It wasn't him.
I get it, but I think he had the ultimate decision in the end.
Oh, he did. It was the GM and the president. Come on.
So John Davidson and Jeff Gordon got rid of him. Okay.
Jeff Gordon warned him one more time, and you're gone.
Well, it is what it is, and he's happy over there in Carolina, I'm sure, which is a red state, and they're winning. So it is what it is, buddy.
You know, the thing about Tony D'Angelo is all he did was speak his mind about what he thinks about life. Okay? He never got in trouble with the law.
Right.
Never did anything stupid like Evander Kane.
Right.
Got in an argument with a Russian goaltender. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's basically what happened.
Yeah.
And you're going to take him out of your team because of that?
No, that's ridiculous.
I don't get it. I didn't get it then. I still don't get it now. But it is what it is. The Rangers have reshaped their team, and I'm still tipping my hat to Chris Drury. I think he's done a wonderful job considering all the changeover with JD getting fired and Gordon getting fired, and all these players leaving and stuff like that. He's done a great job putting this team together, and I still think he's going to make a couple of moves and play that around. What do you got there? What was that?
It's just nothing. Something cool though.
What was it?
It's a new shirt. No, I'm working on shirts, so
All right.
I don't want to say anything yet.
All
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why politics finds its place anywhere in sports.
Well, the part that bothers me is I'm okay if you're going to allow both sides to talk.
Yeah, agreed.
But you're not allowing the one side to talk. It's only the other side that gets to say what they want to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, agreed. I agree. So we both feel that the Rangers are on the cusp of being a contender, but right now still on the pretender side.
They're in between. They're in between. They're not a pretender, but they're not really a contender yet because
they're on the cusp. Yeah,
they're right there. I mean, I think the Rangers are kind of like Carolina right now. I'm not saying comparing teams. I'm comparing what people think about them. I think everybody's been waiting for both teams to take a shit, and they haven't yet.
Yeah.
That's all. That's how I'm putting it.
Well, Ranger fans are something else, and I understand. Actually, I think I posted it on my page, but Mike Rupp had said, and I agree with him. He said the Rangers are close, but I don't think they're there yet. And it's exactly what you said. I mean, barring a couple of good moves here, obviously that's the difference. A couple of really good, strong moves.
If Alex Lafreniere continues to score, if you can get Hedl or Kakko to do what they were brought in to do,
right,
that would change a lot of things.
Sure.
If Braden Schneider continues to play like a seasoned veteran that he looks like right now,
yeah,
things could change. Like we're starting to look at a team that can take on, your Tampas like you like, and your Floridas and whoever's in the East, Toronto and all. And they got good records. See, everybody says they don't have good records against a lot of these teams. That's a lot of crap. They have good records against some of the good teams in the East.
How are the Rangers?
What I'm worried about is having that consistency in a 7-game series. You can't rely on 1, 2, or 3 guys to do all your scoring. You can't.
Right.
Because they're going to shut those guys down at least once or twice in a 7-game series. And those might be the critical games.
No. Let's see here. Let's see some stats. I want to see, what is the Rangers' power play? Because it seems to be real strong.
While you do that, Curly and I are going to get another beer.
Oh, buddy.
Curly!
Let's see here. All right. We're gonna probably ride this thing out another 5 minutes here. So let me see. Let's see here. Trying to find it. Trying to find. Let's see.
What are you looking looking for stats wise, anyways. The power play.
I want to see how they rank in the power play, but I'm having a difficult time right now. This pad is not cooperating well.
Because you live down in Tampa, you should move up north. My screen is nice and beautiful today. Yours was kind of weird.
You're hilarious.
What's that? What's that Ramsey guy say? Your screen looked like shite tonight.
It's funny. All right, so I don't know. I'll have to drill a little deeper. I needed Beth tonight, but I don't know that she's with us. So, let's see. I didn't realize the Rangers were fifth in points right now in the league, which is pretty good.
Well, again, like I said, I think a lot of people have been, they had that 2-game losing streak there, and everybody's like, "Oh, here it comes," and they bounce right back. They've done it all year. And I don't expect it to ever get to a point where they go on a major losing streak. I think they're good enough to maintain what they've done so far. But I'm just looking for that extra piece up front, that extra piece on the D that I believe they need to really, really, really take a run at the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I found it. So you'd be surprised. Well, I don't know if you'd be surprised, but
let's hear it.
Okay. Number one on the power play right now, the Toronto Maple Leafs. 30% conversion.
Didn't I say something about them?
That's huge.
Can any team in the league?
Rangers are fifth, 25.9.
Just very respectable. But can any team in the league match? Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Bunting, all those guys.
Right. Wow, that's Edmonton's number 3 with 27.8. So that's where they're getting all their points.
That doesn't surprise me either with Seidel and McDavid.
I tell you what will surprise you: the Boston Bruins are ranked number 4 at 26%.
That doesn't surprise me. That line with Pasternak and the Penguin? What's his name again? Marchand? The Penguin.
The Penguin. Yeah, he looks like him, yeah.
Looks like Danny DeVito. Come on, the Penguin. Anyhow.
So there's some good statistics here. I'm just going to briefly run through them, and then we're going to close out here. We're going to close out at about 10 o'clock, so about 8 minutes. Hold on, everyone. So impressed with the power play, ranked number 5.
Listen, you go into a season and you can say to your team, you're going to be a top 5 power play. You'd be happy with that.
Sign me up, yeah. Penalty kill. Carolina's number 1 in the league. The Rangers fell to number 10.
That's still respectable.
It is respectable. It's 50%. So let's see here. Shots per game. I know the Rangers are bad at that. It's a great topic. Actually, they're ranked number 20. Their average is 32 shots a game. Cuts, I got to tell you, it wasn't last night. It was against the Kraken. I was really disappointed with the shot attempts. I feel like this team, and don't get me wrong, I mean, they're putting the puck in the net, but I feel like it seems like they're always looking for the option to pass to make that pretty goal, and not enough basic 101 hockey. Get the puck in deep, gain the line, take shots on goal whenever possible, go to the net, make the goalie hold it, let's stop, let's get a face-off. Those basic things, especially when it's a tight game. I was like, why hold the puck that much longer? Why make the extra pass in what should be back to old school? Let's get in deep. Let's make the goaltender make the stop. Let's get just basic 101 hockey. I don't see it.
Well, Paulie, you forget that all went out the window. I'd say about early '90s when the Russian influence came into the game. Well, I'm just being honest. As talented as great skaters and passing the puck and stick handling that they are, everybody tried to emulate them. So the kids that were growing up in that era were playing that kind of stuff on their video games. Let's make the pretty play on the video game. That's the way they took it over to the ice when they were playing. I agree with you. It's been this way since the early 90s, where everybody's got to make that extra pass. To me, you want to score goals? If you're a shooter to start with, if you think you can shoot the puck with the best, you should be a greedy bastard out there.
Right.
Shoot the puck. Okay? If I got a chance to shoot, I'm shooting. And unfortunately, that's not the way they're brought up today. They want to make that express. It's not just the Rangers; it's everybody. The whole league's like that now. You got to make that extra play, that extra this, extra that, and it looks great. It looks great when it works, but when it doesn't work, that's why you have lack of shots on goal. That's why you have lack of scoring. But you're getting into the analytics part of this crap, okay? And I'm not a big analytics guy. Like, it's great to have a high percentage of the power play. It's great to have high penalty killing. It's great to have shots. Great to have this. Great to have this. Great to have that. You got the number one penalty killing unit in the league. If you kill 6 penalties in one night, and it's a 1-1 game, now the 7th one comes up, and you don't kill it, and they score, how good's your penalty killing?
It's true. That's a great point. Yeah, exactly. I'm with you. I totally agree.
You the centerman won 17 faceoffs in a row.
But he lost that one big one.
And they pull the goalie, and you lose the one that lets them tie it up.
Yeah.
How good your
face-off percentage now?
It's
true.
You gotta score when you need to score.
Yeah.
You gotta kill penalties when it's really needed.
Right.
And you gotta win face. All that analytics stuff. You could be first, and you're losing.
Right.
That's my point. You could have 50 shots on goal. If you only get 2 goals, the other team got 3. What good was it?
Who cares how many shots you got?
I'm going to probably die as one of the last old NHLers that played the game that could give 2 shits about analytics.
Yeah.
I think it's just a made-up job for some point. You and I went through this on the ocean. Some Poindexter from college that couldn't play the game, but he's great at crunching numbers. He's great at the computer. Hey, look, I can help your team up by showing you what the percentages are. This, that. This will prove your play here. This will prove your play there. Why don't we get into analytics? Like, well, if I took an hour nap pregame, but I took an hour nap and a half the day before for the pregame, I played better. You know what I mean? Like, we're getting far-fetched here.
Yeah.
Kill a penalty at the right time, score a power play goal at the right time, win a face-off at the right time. That's all I care about.
Yeah. I have been impressed with the Rangers' power play at scoring at the right time. It seems like it has either got them back into games or got them, momentum swings or whatever the case may be. But I've been impressed with the power play. I've been really impressed with the chemistry, Kotzen.
It all starts with Fox when he's healthy.
Yeah. Oh my God. And I tell you, I can't. Every time I'm so impressed with Brandon Schneider. I see really good things out of that kid. But
he's a keeper.
Yeah, the chemistry I see between Zibanejad and Kreider, with Panarin, and Strome, it's starting to really equate to goals.
I like the way Strome knocked the shit out of that guy last night. I can't remember his name. Punched the crap out of him.
Strome, I have
Strome is a guy that'll never be a number 1 guy.
Right.
But a great number 2 guy to have.
Yeah. And you know what? It's funny you say that because I was never a fan. I was like, you got Ryan Strome with probably arguably our best offensive player, the best dangler, all-around hockey player on the team. And, you had pointed out, many people pointed out, well, it seems like, Strome and him do well together.
They do.
But I will say that I think this year Ryan Strome has really improved his game. I think he's playing a lot tougher, for one. For two, he has shown me that, like you said, he's never going to be the number one, but he's definitely a solid number two. And he plays his game is I feel like his game is getting more and more complete. I never feel like I feel like he makes good decisions on the ice. I mean, obviously he's offensive minded, so there are mistakes, there's bad passes, things like that. You're going to see that in players like him. But overall, I think he's really improved and impressed. And I don't know if it's because he plays with Panarin that it leaves him a little more creativity and possibility. But I really have been impressed with his game this year.
Well, when you get a chance to play with everybody considers a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I played with Mark Howe in Hartford, I didn't have to do the things I thought I could do. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Just play hard, play physical. Let Mark do all the
puck handling,
the puck handling, all that stuff. When you play with Panarin, you better be ready for a pass from anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you don't know where that pass is coming from. And the other thing you got to mention about Storm, I'm not sure, but I think he's on a 1-year deal, or last year was contract, whatever.
Oh.
So you got to be careful. He might be one of those ones that might get moved at the deadline.
Mm.
You know, but I like him as a player. I like the way he's playing. He plays. He's physical enough that keeps me happy. He's also on the number one power play, even though I think he's a number two center. You know what I'm trying to say, or number two right wing. But he's on the number one power play, so he's got it. He's a good player.
Yeah, no, I know.
I got no complaints with him.
I'm definitely impressed.
But I'm just like he's undercut. He's got to play well because he knows he's got a big contract coming up. I believe. I'm not 100% on it, but I think he's either got a year left or he's a free agent after this year.
Well,
the two.
We'll have to look into that, and I think I'd like to end it with this. I think coming out of I think obviously the All-Star break, Fox gets healthy here. What do you? I don't know the exact deadline date. Is it early in March?
Yeah, I can't remember. I think it's late March or the middle of March.
I don't know what the deadline date is.
I'll have to look it
up. I think as they come out of the All-Star break, Fox gets healthy. This team goes on a run here. Names that have been talked about, guys like Jordan Eberle should be moved this year. I know that there was talk, and I think the talk is
they're talking about him struggling in Minnesota. He's in Minnesota now, right? Where's that? Vegas? I don't know.
Isn't he on the Kraken?
That's it. Yeah. He they said he's struggling. He hadn't scored a goal in like 8 games. But see, I wouldn't want to get tied up. Like, I think he's a good player, but I wouldn't want to get tied up with him for more than just to help this year.
Yeah, I agree. And that's what that's where I was going. I don't want the Rangers to get themselves in trouble like they have in the past with trying to sign guys just to try to win now. I don't know that you risk it all to win now because the core is so strong. But I got to tell you, and I don't know if I should bring this up now, but we've talked year after year after year, Chris, behind the scenes and on the shows about Chris Kreider. He's got 30. What has he got? 32 goals. 33
boys leading the league.
33 goals. He leads the league. But I'm going to bring this up for a point in different ways. It was a long time where you would scratch your head and say, I don't know what they're waiting for with this kid. I don't know what they're waiting for with this kid. I don't know what they're waiting for this kid. Here he is. What is he? 10 years in the league now?
30 years old.
He's got the first time he scored over 30 goals, right? So you got that. He's finally put his complete game together at very late. But now, moving forward, do we expect 30 goals out of Chris Kreider next year?
I do.
After all this time.
Listen, I think he's figured it out. I think he's finally figured it out that he's going to be more offensively inclined if he stands around the front of the net like he should have for the last 5-6 years a little bit more. Instead of trying to be that individual, I'm going to make the play on my own. Chris Kreider's not a guy that can take the puck and go end-to-end, make dipsy-doodle moves like a Panarin can, like a Zibanejad can.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Those guys can deke and fake and make people look stupid with their stick handling. Okay?
Right.
Chris Kreider can't do that. I don't care what anybody tells me. He can't.
I agree. I agree.
What Chris Kreider can do is he can use his power forward legs and bull his way to the net.
Right.
What Chris Kreider has really done well this year is his ability to deflect and screen is probably the best in the league right now.
Right.
That's not to say he can't score with a 40-foot shot or a 30-foot shot, but that's not his
right.
It's not his thing. It's not his thing. And the other thing about Chris Kreider that I've been reading a lot of stuff. And I think he's taken a bigger role as one of the leading guys on the team as a veteran too, to talk up players too. Like, Lafreniere scored 2 goals in the last 2 games, and Kreider had some nice words for him today. And as a young guy, you don't mind hearing that from a guy that's been around the team for a long time like that.
Yeah.
So, the captaincy part, everybody says they should just give it to him right away. So far so good. It's worked out good. But Chris Kreider, I'm very pleased. Very pleased that I wasn't the GM, because I probably would have traded him 4 years ago.
Yeah, I know. That's
I'm very pleased not, and he's just. I hope he gets 50.
Yeah, me too.
I think he's on his way.
He's on his way. This is the year. If he's going to get it, this is the year. Absolutely.
And I don't think there's a problem with him repeating next year or year after. Will he get 50? Alex Ovechkin doesn't get 50 every year.
Right.
So.
Exactly.
Very impressed with Chris Kreider this year. And he keeps himself in good shape, so I don't think there's a problem with a guy like him. When you get into your 30s.
Right.
Where everybody says, "Well, he's going to start slowing down." I think Kreider's got probably another 5-8 years worth of hockey in him.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see. Barry, you're the best, man. Barry, I'll tell you what.
What's Barry got to say there?
Well, first off, he told me the deadline was March 21st.
It was late March. Yeah, well, later March.
Yeah. So you were right. It was late March. That gives them, coming out of All-Star break, it gives them a lot of time to evaluate, and hopefully they put the pieces in they need without.
Don't sell the house. Sell what you. If you're gonna make a move, you got to make a move, and you got to do it smart. You got to give. You might have to give up something, but you make sure what you're giving up is something you already have.
Yeah, I don't want the big ugly contract. Is what I don't want. Like you said, I don't know. I don't know if the Rangers need a Jordan Eberle, to be honest with you.
No,
I don't think he's the difference maker.
No.
Right.
He would be that top 6 guy that I'm talking about on a rental type thing.
What about a Patrick Kane?
I don't know how many years he's got left. He could. He would be obviously a top 3 guy.
Right.
But
you trade for him, and then next year you buy him out.
He got about $10 million a year, and I don't know what he's got left.
Yeah.
Has he got 2 years left? Has he got 3 years left? Has he got 2 years left?
Right.
I think a Patrick Kane move would be you're definitely going all in to win a Stanley Cup. Sure.
Agreed. And I mean, on the Rangers side, I think it would be Hedl that would be the odd man out to move And I think, I mean, I get it, and I understand why, but I also think he's a good talent. But you got to give to get. I don't think, obviously, the Rangers would never think about moving Lafreniere. It's too early.
Yeah, it's not.
And I think Kako. I think with Kako, it's too early too.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But I did. You got a lot of guys who are on the cusp of breaking into the Ranger team too, like Morgan Barron, the big centerman. He's a big guy, 6'4". He played well when he was up here. There's a lot of guys that are close to being NHLers that are in Hartford or on the taxi squad. Okay,
Yeah.
it's just a matter of what you can get in return for. Like I said, I don't want to trade somebody who I think in 2 years is going to be a top 2 player, a top
Right.
second line player.
Right.
Just for the sake to make a run of the Stanley Cup, unless that guy is already a guy that you already have. You already have 2 of them. You already have 3 of them in the roster.
Right.
That's what people got to. You can't have like 6 Artemi Panarins.
Yeah, and you don't need another high flying guy like Fox.
You know what I'm trying to say here. I mean, you can't have that. You're not going to win with like a whole forward set of lines with Zibanejad. You're not gonna.
Right.
Can't be done like that.
Nope, I agree. It'd be interesting to see. All right. Well, I think we've had enough fun for one night.
Well, yeah. Next week, I'm like I said, I'm going to be on the Rink of Dreams, Barry Shelley show.
When is that? Next week?
We haven't decided yet. We're going to figure out a date sometime next week, so we'll squeeze it in between ours or after ours, one or the other. Maybe you should join us.
I will try. I am flying up to New York tomorrow.
How about next week?
Yeah. And I have some personal things to handle, and then I will be back. I'm still planning on trying to get our show next week around Wednesday. I don't.
We don't have a problem any day, like in the next 2 weeks. Think about it.
Yeah, because we don't have to worry about it too much. So we got a couple things going on. Gonna probably have the new studio here before the end of February. So that's what I'm excited about, and then we'll go from there.
Wow.
But
that's it.
I do want to say that first of all, Barry, you're the best, and I really appreciate the support. I'm glad you're doing well. We missed you the last show or two, but it's
Barry was a goalie, right?
Yeah.
He was like the China Wall.
The Great Chinese Wall.
The Great China Wall. You couldn't get a biscuit by him.
Oh man. Well, I just want to thank him because he's very supportive of the program, and it's awesome. So
Barry is a supporter of hockey.
Yeah, and it's good stuff. So with that being said, I'll get on that podcast with you guys. That'd be a lot of fun.
You better drop the gloves with you.
Yeah, we'll do that. And
see the size of that fist?
Yeah, it's not too bad.
It'll cover your whole head.
All right there, big boy.
All righty.
I'll see you guys in a week. Everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. We'll catch you next time. I got to hit the button, though, first. End the broadcast. We're out.